Hi, this is Ms. Weimer. I'm here to talk you through what you might have missed if you did miss the Friday, January 19th success session. We looked at reflecting on your first semester of college as well as a whole bunch of ways to study for the SAT. I'll be breaking that into a couple of videos, and this first half is just more kind of what you've missed or what updates and reminders for the semester. So this first thing, we did have this link will be included in the email for the homework, but we asked students to reflect in a couple of different ways, and we'll talk through that a little bit, but I'll be including that link. And we used one of Mr. Spencer's jokes, even though he wasn't there, but we'll be careful as we reflect. One of the updates we wanted to let you know about, and you should definitely know this by now, but the drop and add period is always just the first week of class, so that is long gone at this point. We do have people that are starting to ask about withdrawing. Really, I would say try not to. There are ways to get caught up, adapt, ask for help, talk to your instructor. If it does come to that and you've tried everything you can try, come and talk to one of us. We'll maybe suggest a few more things. But withdrawing from a class really does have consequences later on, and you'll start to regret that in your 13th year as you realize you've put yourself behind. If you do have any questions, though, come and talk to any one of us. And then we also wanted to remind people about the whole deal of that you do have to follow the calendars of both the high school and the college. So if the college is open, whether that's midwinter break, spring break, snow days, you are expected to attend class. You can still make that decision and accept the consequences, but you should be in touch with your instructor. You don't just get excused from your college class. Hopefully most of you realize that at this point. Midwinter break is long past, so hopefully you did go to your class even though you were off from the high school. And I'm actually recording this while SE4 is on spring break. So you just keep in mind that when your high school is on spring break, March 30th through April 6th, you should still be going to your SE4 classes. If you have a trip plan, come and talk to one of us and we'll figure out how to help you talk to your instructor, figure out what you're going to miss, figure out what those consequences would be, and if it's something that you can deal with or not. So there's a lot to consider. Come and see us, basically, if you are going to be missing any class for spring break. And we also wanted to just kind of refresh your memory that you should be meeting with an SE4 academic advisor. We want everybody to be doing this about once a year. So if you haven't already, you should do that hopefully this semester. Preferably, you could meet with them before registration opens for the fall. So registration opens Monday, April 9th, and our next success session will focus a lot on that, how to actually register, because they've changed the process since we've taught you how to do that. So it's a new system. It's pretty easy to navigate, but that's something that between learning it at the success session, meeting with one of us, and meeting with an SE4 advisor, we can talk you through it, and you need to get help, but it is something that you need to think about. We also want you to meet with an SE4 advisor just to talk about how things will transfer, where you're at in your program of study. I know you're all pretty early in being in 11th grade, but after this year, planning for 12th grade is really important because you need to put yourself in a good position so that 13th year you're not having to take 17 credits each semester in order to finish your degree. So the planning you do now really is important for next year for your 12th grade. You can make an appointment in the portal or call them at 989-5520. Then we also wanted to remind you that Career Cruising is a useful tool. It really is the best place or the best tool for seeing everything in one place. So looking at what careers are out there and what the requirements would be, what colleges offer that bachelor's degree or what education is required, all of that is in one place. So it's really just put into it. You'll get out of it what you put into it. So really taking the time, taking it seriously, not just looking at getting to the 100% complete that you have to do for your high school stuff, but really take the time to do what it's asking you to do and be intentional about it. It is kind of getting to that point where you want to start making those decisions and hopefully getting a little bit more focused on what you want to do for a career and what that would mean academically, what colleges you want to go to. You do have some time, but the earlier that you can make those decisions, the better for making sure everything will transfer and you can really get the most out of this program the more that you know and the earlier that you know it. That being said, you can still finish your Associate of Arts or your general degree, general education stuff, the Michigan Transfer Agreement. You can do all that without really knowing what you want to do, but the more that you know, the easier it's going to be to make sure that everything transfers how you want it to. And the big thing is that we were looking at kind of how this first semester went. So looking at the numbers for all Blue Water Middle College students, 11th through 13th, there were about a little under 2,000 courses. Around 40% of those were A or A minus, which is awesome. If you're looking at C or higher, which are what we know transfers to four-year schools, that's almost 80% of the grades are going to transfer to another college. That's awesome. A C minus or lower, like C minus to D minus, still passing, just might not transfer the way that you want it to. So then breaking it down to you guys, the first year students, there were a little over 500 courses taken by everyone, and about 51% were A or A minus, so that's higher than the average. And 85% were C or better, again, higher than the average middle college student. And all of those are much higher than the general SE4 student. There are honors that maybe people have been notified about. If you took 6 or more credit hours for the fall and you had a 3.0 or higher for your GPA, you might have been on the president's list. I'm not sure that you're contacted about that, so it's something that if you think maybe that was you and you're not sure, give us a call or email and I'll help you find where to look that up. And then probably after this year, if you complete 12 credits and you have a 3.0 or higher, you'll be invited to join the Phi Theta Kappa. So that's something to keep in mind to keep being successful and keep an eye out for that over the summer. Now, there was still some bad news for the grades. All middle college students, the average 11 through 13th students, about 5% of those grades were E's and about 8% of those were W's. So when we look at just 11th graders, only about, oddly, 3.7% for both E's and W's, which is better than the average, but it is up from last year's 11th grade students. So basically it just comes back to that there should be no reason that you have to fail or withdraw from a class. You just need to ask for help. You need to communicate. You need to talk to your instructor, and you probably just need to up the amount of time that you're spending on your reading and studying and homework and everything. So come and talk to us, and if you fall into one of these where you had some E's or a W, we've probably already been in contact with you. And if you did not fall into it, then congratulations and keep up the good work. What we really want you to do, though, is to think about, just kind of your experience, and I wanted you to communicate that as if you were telling our new students that are thinking about joining us right now. We're in that process of interviewing students, and they're doing their SE4 applications and getting AccuPlacer tests done, which all of that stuff that you just were doing a year ago. So if you think back on this last year, would you do it again? So that's kind of what we want you to tell those students, and it's really, we want to know how it's gone for you. So what has your experience been like? Are you glad you did it, and why? If you're not, why are you not happy you've done it? We do want those new students to think about the good and the bad, right? Like, is there anything you wish you knew a year ago going into this program where maybe it would have affected your decision? Or maybe it just would have been like something to keep in mind as you got started. Those are the kind of things that we want students to know about. So what are those challenges they may face? Can those challenges be a good thing? Like, have you learned from some stuff? So just, this will be a reflection that we'll be including in the email for the homework, but students that were there in person just wrote this out. And so you'll just type me an answer to this stuff and email it back to me. The other thing, there will be handouts in the email that are about that victim versus creator language and choices of successful students. Those are things that you've talked about in your college success class. And we also just kind of want you to reflect on that as far as where you think that you are on the idea of creator versus victim. So you had these chapters in your college success book of, do you accept personal responsibility? Do you have self-awareness? Are you developing emotional intelligence and believing in yourself? So hopefully all that stuff sounds familiar and were things that you learned in your college success class. And we really want you to read those handouts and kind of think about being honest with yourself. Where do you feel like you fall? And everyone has stuff where they're a victim, and everybody would like to be a creator, right? But there's stuff here at almost 40 years old that I'm still probably a victim in some of these cases, and that's something that we all kind of work on through our lives. So be honest with yourself. This is about you and kind of just thinking about what's been good this semester and what maybe didn't go so well. And I'll start another video for this other piece, preparing for the SAT, so we'll break up the monotony a little bit, but you'll need to watch both of these videos, so make sure that you click over to that when you are done. Thank you.